All right, hey guys. Hope that you're having a good week of remote learning. I just wanted to say hello and make sure that you all were kind of up to speed with what was happening in bio. So I'm going to just real quick go through kind of what you should have done at this point. So I'm assuming all of you have checked out this document. And right now we're in the midst of week one. So you're working through learning about blood typing, which is a type of multiple alleles, as well as pedigrees, right? So if you click here to this link, it'll open up the PowerPoint notes. So just to keep things kind of consistent, you want to have that stuff in your notebook so you can copy them into your notebook. The Edpuzzle video is to help you to better understand the material about blood typing. Don't worry too much about the numerical grade for the Edpuzzle video. So going and looking at, there's a couple of mistakes in the Edpuzzle video. As long as you're trying and you're doing your best with that and completing the Edpuzzle video, then that's good for me. It's more to get you kind of the understanding. All right, same thing with the CK12 readings and videos. So those are, open those up, read them to get you a better idea. And then the virtual blood typing lab, you're submitting that to Google Classroom. So when you open up the virtual blood typing lab, okay, the document comes up here. Okay, you go to this this website, and when you're on here, okay, you should be able to click in, go to virtual labs, and I need to upgrade my Flash player, of course. There it is. Okay. The very last one, blood typing. Okay, you want. Okay. Now, as you as okay, as you go through this, right? Click through the assignment in the lab notebook. Things will start to appear in here. Okay, the observations. You'll do this. You'll do your answer questions, right? And when you're done, you hit print and save as PDF. So everything you type in should be in there, right? See how it's on there? And then you hit save. Save it to your computer, save it to your Google Drive, and then upload it to the submission link. Okay, so some of you are having some issues with that. That's how you get the PDF, print to PDF. If there's an issue with that, you can send me screenshots or something else, but I would prefer you just, I think the easiest thing to do is just do the save to PDF. All right, so that's for the blood typing lab. So this we would have done in school with the anti-A, anti-B. We'd have mixed it up. It's essentially the same thing. We would be using synthetic blood in school, but this is same kind of deal. So you're not missing too much in terms of the lab here with that. Okay. What else do we got? Okay, so that's that. All right, the questions are here in case something happens and you need to answer them. You could submit them as a separate document. Again, I'm kind of flexible in how you submit things. If there's a problem, you can submit things differently than how I have. Just make sure you have the work done. Okay, so that's the first part. The second thing you're doing, you're looking at pedigrees. So pedigrees are basically like a family tree that when you look at them, you can analyze how a trait goes through a family. So if I kind of just take a second and look at this. So here's the stuff about multiple alleles. Again, pretty straightforward. I'm not really going to go through that. You guys should just read that and know. Next week, we'll talk about dihybrid crosses. So if you scroll down to pedigrees, right? Pedigrees are family trees used to analyze and determine inheritance patterns. So if we look at an example of a pedigree here, it kind of gives you what all of the different symbols mean. Again, there's videos that you're going to watch in this and also the readings. Okay, so there are circles for females, squares for males. If a circle or square is completely shaded in, it means that that person is affected or they're expressing whatever the trait is that we're looking at, right? So that trait can be a disease, it can be left-handedness, right-handedness, you know, whatever trait we're looking at is being traced through the family. All right. We connect married lines here to show these people are married. They have a child coming off of them, and these are all children. These are all siblings. These are the children's siblings, right? And then from there. So very easy to kind of follow. This is a generation. This is a generation. This is a generation of the pedigree. Carriers are indicated by a half shading. Okay, so if we look at this example, attached earlobes, how many males have attached earlobes? Okay, so if you look at this, right, the affected males, 1, 2, 3 males have attached earlobes. Females with attached earlobes, 1, 2 of them. So if you look at this, it says you label each individual's genotype. Is the trait dominant or recessive for attached earlobes, right? So if you look at this here, we have children that are affected, and then we have 2 parents that are unaffected. So based on that information, we can't say it's dominant, right? Because if it were dominant, have to be in the parents and the children, right? So these 2 have to be carrying the trait, not expressing it, for it to show up in the offspring, right? So here we see this recessive kind of pattern, skipping a generation. Okay, so here's again a look with all of the. You can see that it is recessive. The only way to have it is to have both of the recessive alleles present. So you guys in your assignment are going to be constructing a pedigree of a trait of your choice in your family. So you might be stuck at home with family members. You can trace any trait you want, but so have a little bit of fun with this. Definitely, take the time to look at the trait. Could be attached earlobes. It could be anything that I have listed on there. Something easily seen is probably the best to do. All right. Here's just another example of a pedigree. Same thing here. In this case, we're looking, I believe, at a trait that would be dominant. Right. Here we have the parents. And it's in every generation. Okay, it's a dominant trait. Okay, same thing here. All right, here we're looking at a recessive trait where it's skipping a generation. All right. Same thing with sex linkage recessive. So here we're looking at sex-linked recessive. So males are more affected than females, right? We talked about this a little bit last week, how males can only, for a sex-linked recessive trait, they have to, they can only express it on one X, whereas females need 2, so we see it more commonly in males than females. So that's what's shown here. Only females are carriers. So if you're looking at a pedigree and it's like, okay, how do I know what type of inheritance pattern this is? Is it sex-linked? Is it dominant? Is it recessive? Okay, you can look and you can see that the trait itself sometimes skips a generation. So here we don't see the trait at all. We see only carriers and they're females, and then the trait reappears again in the males, right? So out of this whole pedigree, only 1 female is affected. We see all female carriers. We see mostly males affected, right? That's a dead giveaway that we're looking at a sex-linked trait. Okay, so again, this is what we're looking at this week. Next week, I'll go into the basics of dihybrid crosses in the first part of the week. Then we will do a short quiz on everything with genetics. I would also like to start something new next week as well. I'm not sure exactly what direction I want to go. I am hopeful that we're going to be back to school after this 2 weeks, but depending on what's going on, I'm not certain that that's going to happen. If we do extend our closure beyond these 2 weeks, expect sort of some different things going forward, and I'll keep you updated on that. But for now, this week, focus on understanding blood typing, okay, which is here. Blood type is a type of multiple alleles. The A allele and B allele are codominant. O is your recessive allele. Okay, and we represent this with the letter I, superscript A and B, and then a little I for O. Okay, so you can do Punnett squares to determine blood type. Okay, so here's all the different combinations. So if somebody is carrying a little I, that is not expressed. So someone who has type A blood phenotype can either be AA or A little I. Okay, they have the A antigen on their red blood cells. Okay, but they have anti-B antibodies, which we'll see. Okay, when you do the readings, you'll take a look at that and watch the videos. Same thing with B. You can be homozygous or you can be heterozygous for B. AB, you're codominant. You have A and B antigens on your red blood cells. Okay, and here's you can see that O is in fact the universal donor, and AB is the universal recipient blood. All right. So you'll see some little questions about that on that quiz next week, which I will talk about then. Okay. Let me think. Is there anything else that I want to say? So keep up with this document. So I did want to talk about the Edpuzzle videos. Do your best. The readings, take your time and read those because they're explaining the content. The create a pedigree activity. So for this activity, what you're going to do, like I said, is you're going to show me that you kind of understand how to make a pedigree. And we're looking at using various symbols, these different symbols here. And you're going to make a family tree that has at least 3 generations. Now, if you're not sure, you can kind of guess. I mean, how am I really going to know? No. But like I said, have some fun with this and see what you can find out. Here's an example of one. I don't see it there. I don't know why it's not showing up. It was showing up the other day. I can go in and say, oh, there it is. Okay. So here's just an example of a pedigree. Now, you can put people's first names or their initials on it. Don't put first and last names just for confidentiality reasons. Okay, but just go ahead and list, what your trait is. Okay, so in this case, we're looking at tongue roll. Okay, have it or don't have it. All right, you want to shade in. See, this is unclear, this example, whether, what's kind of going on because they both kind of look shaded in. So they put, tongue roll in red, no tongue roll in orange. You can do that, or you can have one shaded in, one not shaded in. All right. You can create this either on a piece of paper and scan it into me, take a picture of it and scan it into me and submit it that way, or you can do it electronically. All right. So I listed here an app on your phone called Genius Scan that I just discovered last week, and it's kind of been very helpful for me in getting things for you guys scanned in. When we were back at school, like to get the warm-ups up and everything. But this Genius Scan will take a PDF of the document and it'll allow you to send that right to your email. So a really good tool there, easy for you to send. Or you can send me a picture as long as it looks nice. Okay, so here's the requirements. So your pedigree should have at least 3 generations. Contains a legend, right? So something like this off to the side. Names, initials under each member. Based on kind of what you find is the trait dominant, recessive, sex-linked. Genotype of each member underneath this symbol. So again, if it's sex-linked, just make sure you're consistent with that and submit it correctly to Google Classroom. So here's some possible traits. It tells you here if they're dominant, recessive, and you'll see that. Some of these, this 5'7", 5'10", or above, I'm not really so sure about that being recessive, but something you can look into. So here's some other symbols to help you make the pedigree. Again, other symbols that you can use. So have some fun with this. You can do it either on paper and submit it, or if you're tech savvy and you want to do it kind of through Google Drawing or some other means, if you have some kind of program that'll do that, I think that if you do like insert drawing new, and then you would do this on your own document, you can probably pretty easily do this. Yeah, this is not that hard. Yeah. Something like this, right? Okay, yeah, this is doable. So, you can do this. This works. Okay. Or you can do it on paper, submit it. As long as it's done correctly, you should be good. Now this is going to show up on here. Oops, get rid of that. I keep wanting to say any questions, but I'm literally not talking to anybody. All right, so let's see. That's this week. So everything is due for this week, Sunday night at 11 by 11:59 p.m. And from what I can tell, most of you guys are already working through everything, which is great. All right, I'm happy to see that you guys are working as you go. You don't want to put all this stuff off. especially since you have other classes, and I don't know how your other teachers are organizing things. That's why I decided for this week to have everything due Sunday, because I don't know if your teachers are having things due every day or whatever. I figured for this class, for this first week, we'd have everything due at the end of the week. That way, if there's anything that we can deal with that throughout the week. All right, and I'm happy to see that most people are in there and have started. Okay. Next week, I can post another video update too this week if anything comes up. Next week, I'm going to adjust this. This is just kind of the first part. I don't have everything due. This probably won't be due Sunday. This first stuff will probably do like Wednesday or something like that. And then I'm going to start the next thing after the quiz next week. So you'll take your quiz online on all the genetics material. You're kind of going to be on the honor system for that. If you look at your notes, it's not a huge deal for this, but you know, I understand that if you need to look things up, that's not a big deal for that quiz. But most of it, you should know this stuff, and the quiz will be, you know, on Google Classroom. I'll talk about that more next week. Okay. All right. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. If you have any questions, the best kind of thing you can do is email me. So see, like this comment here, Beck, I literally am just seeing this for the first time. Do we have to post our? No, you don't have to post your notes. That's just for your notebook. But best way is to email me, because these sometimes it alerts me to these and sometimes it doesn't. See, this one I didn't see until now. But so email me if you have a question, or send me a remind. That can work as well for this. But like I said, you guys seem to be doing a good job with everything. All the assignments are here. Kind of work at your own pace. And if you have any questions, you should, you know, like I said, email me. But this material is not that hard, so we're not in a bad position right now to do this kind of remote learning. Like I said, I think I hit everything I wanted to say. If not, I'll post another video update. If you have questions, feel free to email me. Do miss seeing you guys. I hope that you're all doing well, and hopefully I'll see you soon.